Hello, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good, Aubrey. How are you today? I'm happy to see you.
Yes, you too. Lindsay is out this week, but Michelle and I are excited to bring you some fun episodes. I'm curious, Michelle, to start us out here, do you feel like you're a pretty chill person?
I think I am chill in the way of like I don't get really angry at people or I don't
Mm,
let like too much get me upset in that way, but I do think I'm nervous. So I don't know if
mm.
that counts.
It's interesting. It depends on how you think about this
Right.
word chill,
Right,
right?
exactly.
People who do get angry easily or easily frustrated, they'll say, I have no chill. Which means I'm not super chill. But I would say you're definitely a chill
You
person
think so?
based on my interactions with you. But
I think
it's
you're chill
interesting.
too.
I think so. Yeah, pretty
Huh.
laid back, right? This is kind of slang to
Yeah.
mean laid back, easygoing. We'll say chill, but it's true. If you get nervous easily, if you worry a lot, you might feel like you're not very chill, right?
Right, but you might put off a different vibe than what you're actually feeling, which is funny.
Exactly. So the reason we're talking about chill in our Q&A, a student was talking about this word chill, right? They said, I know I
Mhm.
can use chill to describe someone as laid back. And then they said, is the adverb chilly? They said, I feel like I can
Mm.
add ly to any word pretty much and it becomes an adverb. And it was an interesting discussion because unfortunately, no, that's not true. If you learned that rule, add ly to an adjective and it becomes an adverb. That's not always the case.
Right.
So, for example, a lot of the words that do follow the rules, first of all, because this is common, right? Oh, an
Mhm.
adjective like soft, if we add ly,
Mhm.
yes, that's the adverb softly. Or
Mhm.
slow, we add ly slowly. What's
Right.
another one, Michelle?
Warm and warmly. So that would
Yeah.
be to form the adverb. Right. Exactly. But again, Aubrey, as you said, it's not always the case. And if you think of this as just this hard and fast grammar rule, you're going to find yourself in trouble because it's not always that way. Right, Aubrey?
Exactly, right? So we're going to do a three-part series here. Make sure that you follow right here on the All Ears English podcast so you don't miss any of them. Today in part 1, we're talking about adjectives that we add ly and it becomes another adjective instead of an adverb.
Hmm.
And then part 2, we're talking about nouns that we add ly and they become an
Oh, this is awesome.
adjective. I know, so tricky. And then part 3, we're talking about adjectives that do become an adverb when we add ly, but with an entirely new meaning, like an unexpected meaning,
So
like hard and
interesting.
hardly, these words. Yeah. So this is going to be a great series.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And so useful because I'm sure these things can be very, very confusing if you just hear ly as adverb. And then, yeah, it's unfortunately, it's not that simple.
Exactly right. English is always playing tricks on us. And
Yes.
this can hurt our connections if we're taking something and thinking it's a hard and fast rule. There are no
Yeah.
exceptions. Then, when we hear something that sounds like a mistake, it might throw us off. Or if we're concerned about something. So, it always helps to know these details, to know a lot of these exceptions so that you recognize that this is something we don't need to stress out about.
Exactly. All right. So, should we talk about chill?
Yeah. So, first, right, often when we add ly to an adjective, it remains an adjective, but with a different meaning. So, chill is tricky because, of course, we have the meaning of something being like cool,
Hmm.
especially the verb, like I'm going to chill something in the fridge means I'm going to cool it
Mm,
down. So, then we have the adjective chilly, which means something is cold. We'll usually use this to describe weather as chilly.
right.
But what makes this especially tricky is that slang meaning that chill also can mean relaxed or calm, right?
Right. So, for example, he's such a chill guy, nothing bothers him.
Yes, but when we add ly, this does not become an adverb. It actually has nothing really related to being
Mm,
laid back, but it
no.
also has two interesting meanings. The first one I shared, if it's weather, right? It's
Right.
getting chilly
Chilly.
outside, grab a sweater. And we'll also describe personalities as chilly. Do you know anyone
Mhm.
who's chilly?
Hmm. There are people who you sometimes wonder if they're chilly or if
Mm.
maybe you just don't know them. Like sometimes somebody might give off a certain impression, but then you have to realize it might not actually be the reality, right?
Right. We also use cold to describe
Cold,
people,
yeah.
right? Someone might come off as cold or chilly if they're not extremely friendly, or maybe their facial expressions aren't extremely friendly. But that's a good
Yeah.
point, Michelle, that this can actually hurt connection if you assume someone is cold, chilly, unfriendly when that's just their face. And if you start a conversation, you might find that they're super warm and
Yeah.
friendly.
Exactly, exactly. All right, so should we do another one?
Yeah, we're going to share a few of the most common examples here of similar words where it's an adjective without ly, and then we add ly and it's a new meaning, but still an adjective. So, what's our first one, Michelle?
Okay, so we have sick. Okay, so
Mhm.
sick, this is an adjective to mean maybe ill or nauseated. So I felt sick after that roller coaster. Actually, Aubrey, recently I took my daughter to like a little kids amusement park, and they had the teacups type,
Oh
one of
boy.
those types of rides. And I went on one of them and I was okay. And the second one, there was just this point in the ride where I felt, I don't like this, but I was okay. But yeah,
And I don't
um,
know about you, but when that happens to me, I'm like done for a while. If I
yeah,
feel sick after the teacups,
yeah,
it's going to be hours before I
yeah,
feel like going on another ride.
yeah, yeah.
But we also have
Um,
slang for this word, right?
that's
It can
right.
also mean something is really cool or impressive. Like you might say, "Oh, that was sick. I've never been able to backflip like that," if someone does a cool backflip. So this is
Yeah,
slang as well, which makes it doubly tricky. And sometimes you're not sure. You have to know the context to know what is meant.
exactly. Yes, you have. Yeah. Aubrey, do you use sick in a slang?
I do sometimes, yeah. If my one of my kids will do like a fun trick in the pool, I might say like, "Oh, sick, that was sick." My kids say it a lot. It is
Okay.
more, I feel like, slang used by the younger generations more often. That might be a word that I'll say it and my kids are like, "Mom, you're too old to say that word."
Well, Dan says sick a lot, and I always
Nice.
kind of, I don't say it. It's not that I think there's anything wrong with it, but it always kind of, it makes me laugh when he says it for some reason.
But this is interesting. If you add ly, it does not become an adverb like you might assume, right? It's
Yeah.
still an adjective. That
Right.
means looking weak or unhealthy. You might say their daughter was a sickly child. You'll often
Mhm.
especially see this in like older books
That's what I
or
was
hear it
thinking.
on older. It's a little bit outdated to call someone
Right.
sickly.
Yeah.
We would probably just say they look ill. They look like they don't feel well.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with that.
But
Um,
interestingly, you cannot, so this other meaning that Dan says a lot when we say something's cool, it's sick, we do
uh-huh.
not add an ly to describe how someone does that. We don't use it as an adverb to be like, "He did that sickly." Nope,
Right.
we don't do that. This is just sick.
Just sick. Let's move on to dead.
Nice. All right. So dead as an adjective, of course, means no longer alive or functioning. We often use this to describe like technology.
Yeah,
You might say the phone battery is completely dead. It means it's
right.
not functioning at all.
Exactly, exactly. Oh, I hate that. Um,
Yeah, right. That happens to the best of us. I need to get one of those mobile
me
chargers where if
too.
I'm out and about, I can just attach it to my phone to get it to power back on.
Yeah, yeah, I also need that because I
Mm.
run into trouble sometimes. But when you add ly again, it doesn't become an adverb. It still can be it's still an adjective. So deadly is able to cause death or extremely serious. So they were exposed to a deadly poison. Uh-oh.
Right, that would be bad. Exactly, right? This is not an adverb. It's another adjective with a similar meaning, but yeah, it means that it is extremely serious, could be deadly, could have disastrous results. Maybe like a ski slope, a really dangerous ski hill could be described as deadly, especially, and
Mhm.
this is pretty literal. We don't really use this to exaggerate or describe something that's not actually deadly as just extremely like we really just use this if it really is that dangerous that you could
Mhm.
die.
Or, actually, we also sometimes will say there's death and deathly, right? So like I'm deathly afraid of spiders or something like that.
Yes, those are very similar, exactly, right? So death, but then also deathly, again, an adjective, right? To
Mhm.
describe how extreme it is. Yes. All right, let's move on to live and lively. So,
Yes.
live is an adjective that means two things, either happening in real time, right? A
Mhm.
live recording, a live video stream, or also full of energy. And often we'll say like a live wire. So this is like
Mhm.
wiring going through a house that has electricity going through it. But we also use this metaphorically to describe like a party as live. And then we
Right.
have live. Oh, so like for example, we're watching a live broadcast or like a live
Yes.
streaming.
Right. Sorry, I lost my place for just a second.
Oh, no problem. Then we have
A live
lively.
broadcast. Yes, and now we have lively. So again, we add the ly and it's an adjective, and this means full of life and energy. So the party was very lively and fun, right? You could describe a person as like, "Oh, she has such a lively personality," right?
Absolutely, if they're very energetic and fun to be around, right? But this, I can definitely see how this could be tricky if you see the word lively and assume it's an adverb because so many adverbs end in ly, but
Right.
it's not. It's an adjective. For all of these today,
Ooh.
we add ly and it's another adjective.
I'm so glad that we are learning this because I can't this is really important, right?
I know.
This is what is really going to help our listeners connect with others more confidently, right? Take out a little bit more of the guesswork because this is one of those gray sticky areas that could really trip people up. So I'm so glad that you're bringing this to us, Aubrey.
Yes, absolutely, right? We don't want you to be confused by English. It can be confusing if you're just seeing adjectives that end in ly and we don't understand why, or we're assuming
Yeah.
it's an adverb. So I'm glad we're able to
Yeah.
clear this up, share some of the most common words we use that ly still is an adjective. Let's do a role play here, Michelle.
Okay. Awesome. So I like this. We are walking in a park.
Yeah, I'll start us out.
Okay.
Oh man, it's chilly out here.
I kind of love it. The air is fresh, the vibe is chill.
Yeah, well, it helps that you're wearing like 5 layers. I bet I look sickly shivering like this.
Oh, you do look a little pale. Are you actually sick?
I'm just tired. I was up all night watching that live nature documentary, the one with the wolves.
Oh, yeah. I watched part of it. It gave me a clear idea of how deadly it would be to live in the Arctic. A lot of time just waiting for something to happen, though. Not exactly lively, huh?
Exactly. It was beautiful but slow. I drifted off halfway through and now I feel half dead.
Oh.
You're like so tired trying to hang out with a friend, but you didn't sleep well. It's so tough. Like, I just need a
Oh,
nap.
oh my gosh. I've been needing more naps recently.
That's because you have small children, right?
Yeah.
Nap when they nap.
Yeah, they don't nap.
No, that's the problem.
Okay, awesome. So you said, "Oh man, it's chilly out there." So, right, there's a little bit of a breeze, a little bit cold, right?
Exactly. So I'm not talking about a person who is acting chilly. This is the weather, right? I'm just
Yeah.
describing the weather is a little bit cool, a little bit cold. It's chilly out here. And then you
Mhm.
said, oh, I love it. The air's fresh. The vibe is chill. So
Mhm.
we describe people as chill, having chill, and we'll also describe a vibe as chill, right? If it's just
Mhm.
relaxed and calm.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. And then you said, "I bet I look sickly shivering like this." So again, you look like you're feeling sick. We already mentioned we're using this for the role play to show you how it works, but again, you might see this more written in older books or even in a movie about a time in the past, right? You probably
Mhm.
wouldn't say this very frequently, but it's good to know.
Yeah, it's a little bit outdated for sure. You might hear it, and it's good to know
Yeah,
what it means,
exactly.
but there are other ways we would say this instead. We just might say, "I bet I look sick," "I bet I look pale," however you say it, or, "I bet I look like I'm not feeling well," if you're there
Mhm.
shivering.
Mhm, mhm,
And then you
exactly.
said, "You do look a little pale. Are you actually sick?" Right? So you're asking me if I actually don't feel well.
Mhm, mhm. And then you said, "I'm just tired. I was up all night watching that live nature documentary." So it's being broadcast. It was live.
Exactly, right? Someone's filming animals live and you're able to watch like a live streaming of that. And then you said, "Oh yeah, I watched part of it. It gave me a clear idea of how deadly it would be to live in the Arctic." So
Mhm.
this means like your life could be at risk for the animals or anyone living in the Arctic, that it's a dangerous place. We would call it deadly.
Yep, exactly. And then you said, it was beautiful but slow. I drifted off halfway through and now I feel half dead. So you feel very tired, basically.
Right, and this is interesting, this is not literal, right? We use this
Right.
metaphorically
Right.
to say that we don't feel well. "Oh, I feel dead. I feel
Yeah.
half dead." Of course, I mean, you can't really feel dead because 'cause you're not dead, but we use this to exaggerate how badly we feel.
It's definitely an exaggeration. Well, Aubrey, this is great. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the episodes in this series. This is going to be so helpful and a lot of fun and very interesting because this is not something that you're going to see in a textbook. I think in the textbook, it's going to show you, oh, ly adverb, right?
Exactly, right? Add ly to a word, it becomes an adverb. And even native English speakers, I think, make this mistake. You see ly at the end of a
Yeah.
word, you're going to assume adverb. It's really good to know the
Yeah.
exceptions, to know when this isn't the case so that you don't fall for these pitfalls.
Absolutely. All right, I love it. Well, Aubrey, it was nice hanging out with you today, and thanks for bringing all of this really important information to us, guys. This is going to be super useful. And Aubrey, I'll see you next time.
Yes, awesome. Be sure to hit follow for the rest of the series, guys. I'll see
That's
you next
right.
time.
All
Bye.
right. Bye.